Welcome everybody to another Technique Tasters with Creative Scrapbooker Magazine and myself, Cathie Allan. We're here to bring you another fun technique that you can use in your upcoming Christmas card. This happy Christmas card, and we are just going to focus on the front, is actually completed from the front all the way through to the inside. I love having people get a card from me where they go ooh on the front, and on the inside it evokes an ah. And what I've done on the inside, have a peek because I'm not going to step this out, but you have a peek because you will be able to use the techniques that I am giving you in the front of the card to finish the inside of your card. To begin with, we are going to use this magical Say It Big, the holiday version. I'm going to use this to create a unique background. I'm going to be using my favorite repositioner that I absolutely love, and it is called the Misty. And I have got my stamp has already started to ink, and what we're going to be using is VersaColor's pigment ink. This beautiful pigment ink stays wet longer, which gives us a lot of blending time. It's the perfect ink for embossing and for so many things. But you're going to see how we're going to use its open time to create a magnificent background. So they do come in that 1-inch cube or a full-size pad. I'm going to use the full-size pad to ink my stamp, and I'm going to stamp it. And the reason I've got it in a repositioner is because I want to get lots of ink on the project. So 2 or 3 stampings. So there's lots of ink. Remember, we spoke about it having more open time. And then you're going to grab a blending tool, and that extra ink we're going to push. We're going to push it so that it's going to add that beautiful color in and around that fun, bold, merry word. Then we will continue creating our card using the Christmas word from the same Say It Big stamp set. There you have it, a gorgeous background, for a unique background for our card. And all that it needs to finish this panel to make my heart happy is I'm going to edge it using a bullet tip pen. Could be whatever color you want. I'm just using black because I love the way this finishes my panel. Now that we've finished the background, we're going to do the next element, which is these wonderful, fun, Merry Christmas words that I've superimposed on top of the background. Guess what? Unity has a beautiful set of die cuts that match those holiday words. And of course, what I've done is I've cut out a couple of them. I've cut out a Merry, and I've cut out the Christmas. And now we're going to alter them so that they color coordinate with my background. To do that, I'm going to be using my VersaColor pigment ink, 1 in burgundy, 1 in lapis lazuli, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's pigment ink, so it's going to stay wet longer, so the embossing powder will stick, and we will get a nice raised shiny surface. Perfect for Christmas. To begin with, we're going to start with the burgundy and your favorite foam tip applicator so I can get good coverage. Also, this die cut you can see is a very fine die cut. If I go in there brushing with a blending tool, the chances of me ripping that die cut are high. So I want something that I'm going to pounce with rather than brush with. Completely cover the Merry in your burgundy. And then take your lapis lazuli and let's put that down on the bottom. I love 2 colors on text. I love the shading and the depth that it gives us. And that's a little dark, so I'm going to tone it down. What's cool about pigment ink is you can put lighter colors over darker colors to tone it down. Grab your embossing powder. I'm just going to use clear. And pass your text through the embossing powder. And look at how beautiful pigment ink holds onto that powder. I sure hope you can see what great coverage I have. Using your heat gun, and I'm going to use my OLFA cutting scissors to kind of hold that in place. And heat to emboss your beautiful Merry Christmas. I like to do it twice. And it just gets higher, more rounded on the top, and gives me that finished look I'm looking for. So you are going to do that for Merry and Christmas. Now, using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, it's a clear drying adhesive, I am going to adhere my Merry Christmas words to my dark panel. As you can see, you're not trying to get it right in the middle of the word. What I want you to do is offset it. Making it slightly crooked is a whole lot more fun than trying to be perfect. You can see that I've gone beyond the edges of the cards with my words, and I love that, but we do need to trim them back. And so I'm going to grab my OLFA scissors, which I absolutely love. And I am going to trim those, turn it over and trim them right against the back of that card. So right along the edge. Now, how fun is that? Now we're going to focus our attention on the snowman panel, and there is No One Like You text panel. So of course, our snowman has come from Unity, and this one's called Special Winter Friends. When you go to their website to check out their stamps, notice that they always come with some really fun little text messages that match their wonderful stamped images perfectly. So this one comes with a choice of "With love to my special friend," or "There's no one like you." So of course I chose "There's no one like you" and this amazing snowman. I have stamped that snowman on a piece of super stock. In fact, all the paper that I have been stamping on today is the Creative Scrapbooker super stock. I love its substance. It's a 130-pound cover cardstock that is good on both sides. It's a matte finish, and it is my absolute favorite to create my projects with for so many reasons. And here I have stamped it using the VersaFine from Sukiniko, of course. It is pigment ink for fine details, and I love it when I've got these fine details and they come out that beautifully crisp. Once you have your image stamp, I want you to grab one of your favorite die cuts. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine, and die cut your snowman out, and we will begin to add some color. To begin with, for coloring, I am going to be using not a marker, but my stamp pads. I'm going to be using a clear embossing pad. This one is from Sukiniko. And of course, a color in the VersaColor line, which is your pigment line of ink called Smoke Blue. My applicator will be this amazing little Fantastics coloring tool. This one is the brush point. And what I'm going to use it to do is to shade the edges of my panel and add color to the body of my snowman. I want the color to move, so I'm going to seal the paper using one of my favorite applicators, which is my finger. And I'm just going to create a slippery edge by applying that clear embossing ink to the edge of the panel. If you don't like your fingers dirty, I was a mud pie girl, so I don't have any problem doing this. You could use a blending tool just to apply some of this clear embossing ink, which we are now using as an extender to the edges. Take your Fantastics. I like to roll it around a little bit in the clear embossing pad, pick up some of the color and play with it so it is blending beautifully for you. And then run it around the edges. Once you've got the ink around the edges, I'm going to, on my scrap piece of paper here, kind of lose some of the color that's inside this Fantastics. And what I love about this is because it's pigment ink, it will never make that tip hard. This Fantastics has been with me for many years. I use it for always this similar color, so you're not replacing it all the time either, which is nice. And now I'm just taking that clear embossing ink and stretching that smoke blue into the panel. If you're happy with that, we're going to do the same thing around his body. There we go. Now we're going to add the rest of our color to our stamped panel. Of course, I'm going to choose my ClickArt pens from Zebra. Why? Number one, in very small areas like this bullet tip makes it real simple to color small, tiny areas. And guess what? It's pigment ink. It's going to be light fast. That color is not going to fade over time. That makes me happy. After you have added all the coloring that you want, what we're going to do is I want you to stamp it again. And you're going to cut out just the hat and the scarf, because when we add it to our finished panel, that little bit of 3D just takes that panel to another place. And besides, 3Ding is just fun. Do a similar thing using the text, "There is no one like you." Stamp it with your VersaFine pigment ink. And then, of course, add the shading to the edges and using your Zebra pen right over top the black words with the pen so that it kind of just all goes together. You're also going to stamp and color and emboss this wonderful, fun little Christmas ticket. And you're going to stamp it with your VersaFine black pigment ink, add color, and emboss the whole ticket after covering it with your clear embossing ink and hitting it with your embossing powder. Now that we have all our pieces done, we get to simply apply everything. Wrap your card with some fun ribbon, vertically and horizontally, and then you will, using your favorite adhesives and foam tapes, you are going to put your front panel all together so that you have this gorgeous Christmas card. You've had the gift of creating it and enjoying the journey, and whoever you give this to will probably set it out each year as a decoration, because homemade cards are much more than a card. They're a memory. They are sharing of your time with the people that you love. Well, hello, scrapbookers. Look what happens when you use your 12 by 12 eyes and you take those same techniques we made for the card and expand them to a layout. What a perfect layout to have these wonderful photos of my grandson, Eli. And all I did was more of the stamping. All I cut out was more of the Merry Christmas, added these fabulous pictures of Eli from last year, wrapped the page with a ribbon because it is truly a present to me. And I have created something very special that every time I take it out, I can remember Christmas again and this very special boy who I love so much. So remember, when you're going through your Creative Scrapbooker magazine book, if it's a card and you're not a card maker, you're just a scrapbooker, look at that card with your 12 by 12 eyes, expand it, stamp more, use the techniques they're showing you. If you are not a scrapbooker, but you see a layout and you go, oh, that's kind of cool, make it smaller. just do less and work it on a 5x7 panel, a 6x6 panel, and create yourself a card. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed these fun techniques, and I hope to see you another time on another Technique Taster with Creative Scrapbooker Magazine.